Hello everybody, this is Mr. Rob and welcome back to another episode of the South Carolina Gamecocks Dynasty here on EA Sports College Football 25, as this is my first commentary back after going on my church trip, and I am recording this voice on the exact same day it's going up because let's continue the grind of this series. So I apologize in advance if my voice is a little raspy, but we got South Carolina, we got number 3 Georgia here at Sanford Stadium between the hedges. It looks like a blackout in Athens. Gamecocks coming off of beating the number 2 team in the country last week. We'll see if lightning can strike twice in between the hedges as we are underway. If you're excited for this one, make sure you drop a like and you subscribe down below, especially if you want more Dynasty Mode content, as Georgia's kind of dominated this matchup. 7 straight victories for the Dogs, including a 34-17 victory last year in Columbia. So we'll see what happens this year. So the first play will be an incomplete pass. Nice defense by Troy Haslam. Second and 10, how about an incompletion on a screen with Angel Casey giving some pressure. The defense is forcing an early third down. Third and 10, but Ron Tufts, the quarterback, goes up the seam with a big 29-yard connection. Ron Tufts, a former 5-star recruit from Atlanta, Georgia. 68% of his passes have been complete this year. 1,800 yards, 22 touchdowns. He's been an early Heisman candidate. As now with a new set of downs, he scrambles for 4, and you got to respect that part of his game too. 28 yards on the ground last week, 2 total touchdowns this year on the ground for Ron Tufts. Second and 6, a bubble screen out wide will pick up 5, and it's a third down for Georgia. So this time only a yard, and they will pick it up on the ground with true freshman Mitch McCoon, who has 151 yards this year. Now past the midfield marker into Gamecock territory. Tufts on first down with a quick throw. This one's going to be caught. That is Kevin Rusnak, the impact wide receiver, with a first down. And Georgia's driving early to the 30, trying to set up a screen. Cottrell is there. He reads it nicely. That one's incomplete. Second and 10 now. Tufts to the air. Has a man short with plenty of running room. It's going to be a foot race to the end zone. He's tackled down at the 1. Tufts checks it down. That's a huge catch and run for Kevin Rusnak. Now it's called to go from the 1-yard line. Georgia will throw. Quick pass, and that one's knocked away. Nice defense by Nate McCaleb. Second and goal now. Handoff up the middle, and it's going to be a touchdown. That's Marco Adai. The sophomore gets the scoring started with his 4th rushing touchdown of the season. Georgia leads 7-0, and we'll see South Carolina's first drive to begin the day, fresh off the touchback. And we got to face this Georgia defense that is probably the best defense in the country, in my opinion. It's loud out here at Sanford Stadium as well, as we start off with the 25. Afia Kilgo with the keeper, and he will get maybe back to the line of scrimmage. Josh Sauer leading the way. Second and 10 now. Kilgo was a play fake. Wants to keep his eyes downfield. Checks it short for Dora, who takes a big hit after a gain of 2, and it's an early third down for the Gamecocks. They go with a draw play, and it's blown up. Number 99 up the middle stuffs it. There's a 3 and out for South Carolina, so Georgia will get it back. Their second drive is here's a nice play out in the flat. Hard hit on Marco Adai will actually knock him out of the game momentarily. And that was the third down for the Dogs. To the air, trying to set up a screen, but it's going to be a sack. That's Ty Pettis up the middle, the former 5-star recruit. Goes back to the Gamecocks, who face an early third down of their own, and they will not get it. So the offense having a hard time getting going in the early portion of this one, is now Georgia's third drive of the day at about midfield, and they'll lose 4 on this quarterback keeper. Now third and 6, bunch to the right, Tufts to throw, looks that way downfield and is caught. Beautiful job there by Timmy Cockerham, the other impact wide receiver, to come back for the football there. Moves the sticks, is now on first down from the 27. They go with a gain of 2, and you can see the numbers for both quarterbacks. Tufts throwing circles around Kilgo in the early going. Second and 8, this one to the left side, a beautiful pass to Tufts. That's why he's a Heisman Trophy candidate. Finds Figueroa down there to the 3-yard line. Goal to go, hand off to Adai back in the game, and he will get it to the 1. Second and goal now. They switch backs. Here's Mitch McCoon. It's a pass, though, and it's nicely broken up. Now you got a third and goal from the 1. Adai checks back in, gets the carry, and he'll find the end zone. Touchdown, Bulldogs. Second of the day for Adai. Second total touchdown for Georgia, and they lead 14-0. The first quarter's not over yet. South Carolina gets the football back, but it's 3rd and 5 again. Kilgo throws it right side, and Pat Cameron drops a first down. That'll do it for the first quarter. Georgia all over South Carolina in this game, 14-0. Just look at the stats for both teams. 12 total yards for the Gamecocks. Georgia has dominated every category. They start off the second quarter with the football at their own 43, 2nd and 9. Tufts goes to the air up the middle, and he's wide open. There's Kevin Rusnak again. 4 catches, 74 yards for Rusnak. He's averaging 91.5 yards per game. So out to the 31. Tufts off play fake. Clean pocket. Looks right side. And there's a nice throw. It's caught. Timmy Cockerham downfield. Out to the 11. Another red zone trip for Georgia. Clock winding down in the play clock. They hand it off. A nice move by Adai to get past the first defender. He picks up 7. 6 for 20 on the day for him. This time Tufts will keep it, and he will get down to the 2. But it's a 3rd down and 1 as well. Tight gun formation for the Dogs. They hand it off to Adai, who will not get to the end zone, but he does pick up the 1st down. So now it's goal to go from the 1-yard line. They'll get underneath center. They'll hand it off to Adai, and he has the first half hat trick. As another touchdown for the Dogs. 21-0 in favor of Georgia. So we'll go to the Gamecock offense, which has been non-existent today. And on 2nd and 1, they pick up a 1st down. That might be the first down of the day for South Carolina. So at least it's a start. The new set of downs. Quick pass for Gallegos. There's 7 off of the soft coverage. 4 for 8, 24 yards for Afia Kilgo today. 2nd and 3, bootleg. Kilgo, nothing open. And he's going to have that pass knocked away. Good defensive play by Dakota Kegler. 3rd and 3, touch pass to Terrell Benshaw, and he will not get there. Stopped at inches shy. And South Carolina will punt. They wouldn't go for it. I probably would have risked it there. Instead, they give it back to Georgia, down 21-0. And on 1st down, it's a sack. Andy Everett finally reaches the backfield. That'll back him up by 6. Now it's 2nd and 16. Tufts in the gun goes to the air, looking right side. And this one's intercepted. Picked up by Frank Kennedy in the flat, and he's going to walk it in for a pick 6. The former 5-star from the IMG Academy, Frank Kennedy, will get the scoring started for South Carolina. The defense throws the offense a bone. 21-7 now, as they'll hit right back out to the field, though. Georgia will try to do it again. From number 43, Adai. And, well, actually, that's Tufts who's going to get sacked. I see Cottrell back there. I see Groupie. I see Everett. They all meet in the backfield. Now 3rd and 15 up the seam, and this one's caught for a 1st down. Telford gets beat in man coverage. Rashawn Veal, one of the better tight ends in the country with it. That's a big 1st down for Georgia. But on the 1st down, on the next set of downs, they go with the delay of game. Tufts doesn't snap it, so that'll help. 1st and 15, tight formation. They're going to throw. Quick drop. Tufts will then tuck it and run it, and he'll pick up a lot of those yardage back out to the 41. Now a 3rd and 6 for Georgia. Tufts, clean pocket, wants to escape, but he's going to be sacked. Runs into Andy Everett. That's a big-time sack. That'll move the Dogs out of field goal range, and now hit the 2-minute warning. Georgia up by 14, but South Carolina does get the ball at the half. We'll see what they can do here, as that one's incomplete to begin. 6 for 13 now for Kilgo. Next play, Kilgo faces the blitz. Got to get rid of it, and he doesn't. It's incomplete. So now 3rd and 10. We'll see how aggressive South Carolina gets. And they'll just hand this one off to Dora, who will not get the 1st down. And we'll actually head to the half, where Georgia has dominated this game outside of a 17-yard pick 6 to Frank Kennedy. As it's 21-7. Gamecocks 50 yards of offense here, so at least they got 40, I think it was, in the second quarter. But Georgia's dominated every aspect of this game. South Carolina will start off with a football, fresh off a touchback here in the second half, and they'll go to the ground with Dora, who gets one up the middle. You can see his stats, 6 for 21. Bunch to the right now. They're going to hand it off again to Dora that way, and he will pick up maybe 4 more. Now it's an early 3rd down for South Carolina. They bring a man in motion. Kilgo wants to throw, hit as he throws, and it's a 3-and-out to begin the second half. Not what you could have afforded there. So now first drive for Georgia. Tufts will keep it wide open up the middle on the run. Nobody accounted for the quarterback. Still in negative yardage, by the way. 10 carries, negative 13 yards for Tufts. But on 1st down, this is where he's been the most deadliest, through the air. A beautiful pass. He has good anticipation. I can see Ron Tufts, if he comes out of college this year, being a very early pick in the draft. So out to the 23. It's a draw play to Adai. Gets 7. 9 for 29 is not the most amazing stat line, but he has 3 touchdowns. 2nd and 3. Tufts quickly moves to his left, and he finds the tight end cutting across. That is that beautiful awareness we've seen out of Ron Tufts in this game. He's got Georgia goal to go from the 6. Handoff to Adai up the middle, and he picks up 2. 2nd and goal now. Tufts making some adjustments. Hands it off again to Adai, who cuts it out left side, and he'll find the end zone. Touchdown, Georgia. 4 rushing touchdowns for Tufts. He has more rushing touchdowns today than he had going into the game, and it's now 28-7. South Carolina down by 21, and they face an early 3rd and 8. From their own side of the field, quickly a pass to Bono, who catches it. Okay, so it's not a 3 and out. That'll help. Gill goes 9 for 19, by the way. Out to his own 43. This will help. He's at 50% now as he checks it short for a gain of 8 to Dora on the swing pass. 2nd and 2. Now a handoff for Sony Dora, who goes right side, and he picks up a first down. And this might be the first time South Carolina has entered Georgia territory. Out to the 43. Handoff. This is Keenan Todia checking in. He gains 5, one of the better runs of the day. 2nd and 5 now. Kilgo. Quick drop. Throws as a man at the sticks. Caught by Ben Shaw. First down. Out to the 29. South Carolina could really use a score here. Next play is a handoff to Dora, and he's going actually backwards with a loss of 2. Jose Caraway with a stop, and now it's 3rd and 12 for the Gamecocks. Kilgo to the air. 4-man rush, but he gets sacked. The offensive line gets blown up. And that'll knock him out of field goal range. It stays 28-7 as the 3rd quarter winding down. Georgia, though, on 3rd down. Throws it to the right side, and it's not going to be a first. So that'll force a punt. But we'll go into the 4th quarter. 28-7 your score. South Carolina has just been beat in all forms today. If you take away that pick 6, this game looks a lot uglier for the Gamecocks. At the football here, though, to begin the 4th quarter, we'll see what they can do. Out to the 49 of Georgia. Kilgo looks short, and this one's not complete. Proctor was the target. 2nd and 10. Kilgo quick pass. This time throws it to the other tight end, Thomas Bono, and he picks up 7. And it makes it a much more manageable 3rd and 3. Kilgo getting some calls from the sidelines. He's going to throw it. A blitz from Georgia. Looks short. He has Dora, who will pick up the first down. He makes a nice spin move on the defender, and he gets out to the 21. Dora has emerged nicely as a safety valve for Kilgo. That's where he shines. First down run. That's not where he shines. He only picks up 2. Now 2nd and 8. Kilgo back to the air. A 3-man rush. He gets through, and this one will be checked down, but this time it will be covered by the defense. And now it's a 3rd and 8. Kilgo, only a 3-man rush again. Wants to run. Tucks it. Has a first down. He puts the football on the ground, but it's picked up by South Carolina. Disaster avoided. And now it's goal to go from the 10 to the air. Quick pass, and then the receivers run into each other. That looked ugly. Next play, screen right side for Cameron, and it's blown up. Beautiful play by Antoine Rabb. He's made a couple plays in the second half, and now it's 3rd and goal. Kilgo drops back, gets sacked. He puts the football on the ground again, and this time it's picked up by Georgia, and South Carolina's offense comes up empty on the drive. Still have yet to record an offensive point, by the way. Georgia drives, but now it's 3rd and 6, and they want it all, and they will get it all. Up the seam goes Jamison Figueroa, the former 5-star from Miami, Florida. And that's the first passing touchdown of the day for Georgia. They now lead 35-7. Next drive for South Carolina will start at their own 22. Kilgo will tuck it and run it, and he will put the football on the ground again, and it's picked up by Georgia. 3 fumbles by Kilgo, and his pass like 3 carries. Georgia will then push it down to the 6, 3rd and goal, by the way, with a man across the formation. Tufts to the air to throw it. Rolls to his right, fires. That's a touchdown. And this game has gotten out of control as the Bulldogs lead 42-7. And that will actually be your final. Georgia destroys South Carolina in every facet of the game. 42-7 your final. South Carolina didn't even record a single offensive point. Remember, our only points came off a pick 6. Georgia wins the 8th straight victory for these two teams, and they can celebrate. Marco Adai is your player of the game with 4 touchdowns. This game was insane. I couldn't even get mad playing this game, honestly. Georgia, in my opinion, looks like the best team in the country. I don't even know. This was the best defense I feel like I've ever seen. I've never seen South Carolina get shut down like this. It didn't matter what we did. Passes, throws, outside runs, inside runs, play actions. Georgia just was all over it. And they win 42-7. I could easily see the Bulldogs challenging for another natty this year. We do get to the National Defensive Player of the Week, thanks to 3 sacks from Andy Everett. And we'll take a look at the top stories, including a Textile Bowl matchup this week. NC State Clemson in a big ACC battle. Wisconsin and Iowa get ready for a contest in Madison this week. And then Mississippi State will beat Kentucky, handing the Wildcats their first loss of the year, 38-35. Georgia will put their 4-game win streak on the line this week as they play number 7 Oklahoma. Here are your scores from around the country in Week 8. Old Dominion got a victory over Troy. And SMU on Thursday night gets an ACC win over Boston College. On Friday, Miami, Ohio wins the MACtion, while on Saturday, Memphis will destroy Temple. We'll see USF get a road victory over FAU. Miami puts up 55 on Georgia Tech. The Hurricanes look good as well. Close Big 12 matchup goes the way of Arizona State. Middle Tennessee State beats their conference opponent in Sam Houston. Appalachian State gets their first Sun Belt victory over South Alabama. NC State blanks Louisville ahead of their matchup against Clemson. Houston over Utah in the Big 12. Also in the same conference, Kansas beats West Virginia. I've said the Jayhawks look like the worst team in the country, or at least the worst Power 4 team, and they get a victory on the road. Arkansas State over Louisiana. Arkansas beats Florida, who dropped out of the rankings after back-to-back L's. FIU with a close victory over LA Tech. Northern Illinois loses at home to Hawaii, while Auburn will lose at home to their rivals in LSU. Charlotte has had a humongous fall from grace. They went from the playoff last year to now being 1-5. Michigan beats Purdue. BYU with a home victory over Kansas State, while Wisconsin prefers for that matchup against Iowa by beating Maryland. Wyoming knocks off San Jose State. We see Pittsburgh over Cal in the ACC, while Arizona will beat Oklahoma State. What's been a busy week for the Big 12. Washington with a shootout victory over UCLA on the road, and we see Michigan State get a road victory over Indiana. Western Kentucky bouncing back nicely, beating Liberty this week. They're up to number 11, while Tennessee goes down to Missouri. The Vols lose at home 31-28. Iowa gets a nice victory ahead of their matchup against Wisconsin over Minnesota to win the trophy. Texas State upsets Texas A&M 35-33. And then Clemson dominates North Carolina. Nebraska over Northwestern in the Big Ten. Tulane beats Wake Forest this week 27-14. And then College Game Day, Colorado gets it done in Boulder 31-28 over Iowa State. And that could be a turning of the tide in the Big 12. Oregon State with a Pac-12 victory over UNLV. Virginia Tech knocks off Syracuse in a battle of ranked opponents. While Mississippi State we saw beat Kentucky, and we'll see the Bulldogs this week. Ohio over Eastern Michigan. Texas Tech knocks off Cincinnati. Ohio State hangs 51 up on Illinois. They are the new number 1 team in the country. UMass knocks off Central Michigan, while Baylor beats Florida State. It has not been an easy transition for the Seminoles, which continue to be, in my opinion, the most disappointing team in the country. New Mexico knocks off Nevada. Bowling Green in the rankings beats Buffalo. Alabama loses at home to Ole Miss. The Rebels trying to crack the top tier of the SEC. Notre Dame early visit with USC this year beats them 18-17. Rutgers drops it at home to Texas, while Tulsa beats East Carolina. Boise State will double up San Diego State this week. Stanford enters the rankings finally sitting at 6-0. They squeak by Duke. Louisiana Monroe will double up Georgia Southern, and then we'll close it out with Colorado State getting a road victory over Fresno State. Your players of the week, Andy Everett got the national defensive. We saw Adonis Big Hill in New Mexico State with 203 yards receiving and 3 touchdowns, while your SEC offensive player of the week was Margot Adai of Georgia. Here's a look at the new top 25s. We have a new number 1 team, and we actually have a new number 2 team because Oregon fell from number 1 to number 3, and they didn't even play this week. So not necessarily fair to them, but, I mean, you're in the top 3. It's a top team at the top. That doesn't really make much sense, but you can see the rest of the top 25 here. As far as the big games this week, we have Georgia playing Oklahoma, like we saw, 2 top 10 teams going at it, while Miami, fresh off a shellacking of Georgia Tech, will host Virginia Tech. And then rivalry matchups, Wisconsin and Iowa in the Big Ten, and then Clemson, NC State in the ACC. As far as South Carolina, we will continue to hit the road as we head to Starkville this week to face the 3-3 Mississippi State Bulldogs, a team that has been a thorn in our side underneath Coach Rob's tenure. We've had plenty of seasons where we've been going good, and we somehow lose to Mississippi State. Hopefully they don't have our number, and hopefully this year we can beat them on the road, because even though we are 4-2, I think we're still in a pretty good spot. I still think, in my opinion, we should be ranked, by the way. Georgia's arguably the best team in the country, a top 5 team at that. And then Kentucky just lost for the first time this season. So I think this is still a talented team. Even if we don't make it to Atlanta, we can still make the playoffs as an at-large. So we still have plenty to play for. No need to freak out. But we got to beat Mississippi State next week. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you drop that like and you subscribe down below, especially if you want more Dynasty Mode content. This is Mr. Rob, and I'll see you in the next one.